So I'm out on another quick overnight, and I was packing my bag this afternoon, putting some kind of luxury items in there, like a saw, chair. I thought I might have a fire. It turns out it was just too windy to get a fire going here. But it made me think about all of the advice that's out there on what not to bring backpacking and camping. There's all kinds of reasons, like things are too expensive, they're too heavy, or they're just unnecessary. And there's obviously some truth in that. And I do a lot of different trips, and sometimes you really want to go minimalist, but other times it doesn't really matter. And I find that advice assumes that you're all out on the same kind of trip, or you're at the same stage of your journey in adventuring outdoors. Not every trip has the same purpose or the same goal. If you take on-trail backpacking with designated campsites, that's one kind of adventure. I find that kind of type 1 adventures that are just cruising out there. You don't have to think too much. They're pretty low risk, and you can cover a lot of ground, and you can definitely travel really light, or you can bring more luxuries because the terrain, generally speaking, isn't too hard. And then if you move up from there, you can take an on-trail backpacking trip and make it harder, go fast packing, try and do it in a really reduced amount of time. Then obviously you're gonna wanna bring less equipment. You can sort of progress from there and then say, what about wilderness backpacking? So anything that is off trail or parts of it are off trail, you don't have designated campsites. So there's a lot more unknown. You're gonna wanna bring slightly different equipment, slightly different clothing, things that can handle a little bit more abuse. You might be bushwhacking a bit. It's just harder on your gear, but you're still gonna wanna pack pretty light or as light as possible to, keep your mobility. Another kind of trip that I like is something like tonight, which is wilderness camping. Nothing really hard in terms of distances, but still remote. So I have to bring backpacking gear and a backpacking tent, relatively lightweight, but I afford myself to bring some more luxuries, some things that I like to bring with me just to enjoy my time outside. So you can go on and on. There's just so many different types of adventures, and they all kind of scratch a different itch. And I bring different gear and have different expectations for every kind of trip that I do. Most of us go through a kind of arc with this stuff. In the beginning, we pack our fears. We pack too much of everything. Then we discover minimalism. We trim down, go ultralight, chase efficiency, chase mileage, chase long days. Then eventually there's a correction. I've been doing these kinds of adventures for over 30 years, and I've gone through all of those stages. Telling someone not to take that journey, I think that's missing the point. So if you need to pack your fears in order to go outside, pack your fears, bring everything. If you're more comfortable, maybe have a bit more experience, or your goal is to cover a lot of ground and do really hard trips, then pack less, go minimalist. But at the end of the day, it's about getting out here. It's about doing what you like.